Welcome, everybody, to another edition of Spotlight on Addiction and Recovery. I'm your host, Scott Jones from the Addiction Training Center. Before we get started with the show, just a quick reminder that if you like this show, please subscribe to our channel, hit the bell to get notifications, and, of course, share it with your friends. But, again, Spotlight on Addiction and Recovery, we talk about all things about addiction, recovery, mental health, and just overall living a happier, better life. We're going to throw some comedy, some music, and everything else in there as well. And I'm excited about this, about my guest today, because we actually met for the first time, 2 days ago?
2 days ago.
2 days ago. And we were at a conference, and I had a booth, and he had a booth next to mine. And I had candy, and he had pens, so we hit it off really well. He had a snack, and I got to write stuff down. So, actually, no, this is Lucius Irvin, and you're from Knoxville, Tennessee.
Knoxville, Tennessee.
Like born and raised?
Well, I was born in Spain. My dad was in the military, but I'm from Knoxville. Yes.
You look Spanish.
Yeah. I can roll my R's.
Yes. Oh, you can? Okay, there's one of his talents. We can just mark that right off there. He can roll the R's. All right, so excellent. So you've been living in Knoxville for quite a while.
I have, yes.
Yeah. Now, you have a company. It's called Mindful Recovery Coach. Mm-hmm. Okay. First of all, what exactly is that?
So really two parts. One, I provide training for treatment centers for their staff, and I also provide recovery coaching as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So the trainings, what are the trainings based on? Is there a specific theme that goes throughout what you do, or is there like a lot of different things?
Yeah, most definitely. Mindfulness. It's a set of skills that a person can use to help with stress, help kind of de-escalate themselves, and then hopefully through the training help other people with their stress level and de-escalation for themselves. Yeah.
Now, thank goodness, mindfulness is not one of those phrases that have been bastardized yet.
Exactly.
And I say yet.
Yes.
Because we've ruined the word holistic. We've ruined the word science-based or evidence-based.
Yeah.
We've ruined a lot of things, individualized programming. So before everybody gets out there and starts using mindfulness, what exactly would that mean to like the layman? What exactly is mindfulness?
So, and there's lots of different ways to implement mindfulness, but really the way in which I do it is it's really, there's four parts. Paying attention, on purpose.
I'm sorry, I wasn't listening well.
Squirrel. That's why I do this training.
Something shiny.
So paying attention on purpose to the present moment without judgment. So there's four parts. We're not talking about some mystical stuff.
You had me to the judgment part. You really did. Because I think you probably lose a lot of people on that one.
And that most definitely is the most unique part of mindfulness, is the non-judgmental part, because our minds are actually categorizing and judging things constantly.
But is that judgment like? Are you talking about judgment of others or judgment even of ourselves?
Both, but mostly beginning with ourselves. Because,
right.
That internal voice, especially people in recovery, that internal voice is huge. It's a huge obstacle for the recovery process. So being able to establish some practices to help with that judgment is crucial.
Right. I mean, because we do exist when you're dealing with addiction, which, what is your connection to helping with addiction and stuff?
So, I mean, I'm a person in long-term recovery. Okay. I have 14 years in recovery.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent. So. All right. Well, myself as well. So, we're part of the club.
Yeah.
But I know that going through my addiction in all those years, it was that egomaniac with an inferiority complex.
Most definitely.
So, what is the phrase? I was the piece of crap the world revolved around.
Yes.
Right?
Exactly.
So judgment was really a big part of either elevating myself by judging others and pulling myself over them by that judgment,
most definitely.
or burying myself with those. So the mindfulness, I mean, how do you achieve that? I mean, you're talking about like, this is David Carradine Kung Fu stuff walking around the country.
Well, take my training. At this point, promotion.
Yeah, no,
yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, this training's open for everybody, by the way. This isn't,
it is.
You mentioned treatments, but this is for everybody.
It really is applicable to people in recovery, not in recovery, humans. Okay. Tagline, humans, yes.
Yeah, which most of us qualify for. Although I hit Walmart the other day, and I'm not sure all of us qualified. Let me tell you.
So there's a little bit of judgment there. Yeah, we'll get you trained.
Well, it's not. Nobody's mindful when they go into Walmart. I mean, if you were, you wouldn't be there.
It is challenging.
They're not a sponsor. I don't care. Notice I didn't pick on Target. Yeah, they're down the street. So, all right, let's take this apart because I want to jump all over, but let's take this apart. You said the 4 parts of mindfulness.
Yes.
So, what was the first one?
So, paying attention. So, I mean, when I talk to people about paying attention, are you able to pay attention?
Not all the time.
Well, actually, you're paying attention all of the time, just not on one thing. You're changing your focus around. You're paying attention, but your focus is not sustained at any one thing at one point.
Well, that totally makes sense because I do a lot of teaching, and I've been in the entertainment field and education for a long time. So, but I've always taught through humor.
Yes.
Obviously,
Yeah.
I like joking around.
Yeah.
Because I found people learn more when they're laughing than when they're trying to concentrate. Because you actually lose part of your attention.
Yeah.
Because your attention's on trying to pay attention, so it's not actually on what you're paying attention to.
Unless you're doing it correctly.
Unless you're doing it correctly,
Yeah.
which nobody does.
Yeah.
So I say make them laugh because your brain automatically says, ooh, I want more. I like that.
Most definitely. And so we're paying attention. We're
right.
actually paying attention all the time. But what we think of when we're talking about paying attention is paying attention on purpose. That's the second part. So we're bringing some intentionality into what we're focusing on.
Okay.
And we're building the capacity to sustain that attention for longer periods of time. Most people, it happens. You're squirrel.
Yeah. Yeah.
The attention our brains are not trained to pay attention on purpose for long periods of time. Any social media, movies, all of those things have trained our brains to be able to focus for short periods of time.
And then they almost have to shock us back, like the
Most
movies.
definitely.
And we need an explosion here because we've
Yes.
just lost everybody
Yes.
in this.
Any-
There's a 5-minute conversation between two people.
Yes.
They're going to leave if we don't blow something up,
Yeah.
right?
The only you think about, artistic directors, they're the ones that do the long pans and all of a sudden it's artistic because most of the time directors they're flashing different things.
Yeah.
So our brains are trained to do that now.
Yeah. And those artistic directors, those long pans.
They don't make
We're
a lot
not
of
bringing
money.
up any names because nobody knows who they are. Because nobody
Most
goes to those
definitely.
damn movies. No,
Yes.
they want to see the stuff where
Yes.
we want stuff blowing up.
Yes. So we are going against the grain.
Yeah.
And we're learning how to sustain our attention on purpose for a period of time.
So you're actually training people on being able to do this themselves.
Most definitely. That is
Okay.
the end goal. Because ultimately I can lead people through it, but when they go home, they don't have the ability.
This has got to be the single most frustrating thing to teach is to teach somebody who should be paying attention to you how to pay attention. Because
Well,
if they're not paying attention to you, how are you going to teach them to pay attention? That's the great mystery
I'm
of
also
life.
I've also been a middle school teacher, so I've dealt with
You've dealt with
the
that
short
age.
attention span.
Yeah.
Which most people in recovery, especially early recovery, their attention span is about a middle school.
I don't know. Every time I got bored,
Student.
they put me in the principal's office.
Yeah.
So I always had something going on. All right, terrific.
Yes.
So we got
So we're
we
paying
got paying
attention
attention and
on
purpose,
purpose.
on purpose.
To the present moment. And so we root ourselves in the 5 senses. Because if we're talking about the present moment, the 5 senses are with us all the time. Our 5 senses of smell, taste, touch, hearing, and taste, I think. I don't know.
You said taste twice.
Yeah.
Are you hungry? Did you miss lunch?
So we have our 5 senses. Whatever those 5 senses are for each of us.
McDonald's French fries came up. I don't know where it came up.
Sponsorship. All right.
Okay.
But so we
this is
rent-
serious.
We focus ourselves on the 5 senses, and which are with us all the time.
Yeah.
We have no filters on our ears. Actually, we're bringing in information 24/7.
Yeah.
All of our 5 senses, so they're with us all the time. So we really begin to root our attention on our 5 senses. Mm-hmm. So we can pay attention on purpose to the present moment.
Now you're talking about like meditation type things to learn how to control your focus on those senses?
Yeah,
is that what we're looking at?
So meditation is kind of like an umbrella term, and a lot of people have different ideas because there are a lot of different kinds.
98% of the people who say they meditate don't meditate.
Yeah, most definitely.
They sit and they think.
Well, but
and sitting and thinking is not meditating.
Actually, it is. Meditation is focusing on anything for an extended period of time. You can think. My grandmother, I would come in, she'd say, "I've been studying on you." I'm from Tennessee.
I've been studying on you.
I've been studying on you.
Oh, bless your heart.
Yes.
Thank you. Yeah, I drove through there once.
What she meant was she was thinking about me. That is a form of meditation.
Okay.
It's not religious.
I see what you're saying. Okay.
But
all right.
focus.
It's
so
focus.
meditation, you can have ethics, philosophy. Those are forms of meditation. You can also have spiritual meditation where you have like mantra. You can have all kinds of Christian contemplative.
Yeah.
So all of those are under meditation. This mindfulness, there's different kinds of branches of mindfulness, but this is a secular approach. It's just a set of skills that helps us to focus our attention. Yeah.
Okay. All
so
right.
in a way, yes, it is under the large term meditation, but people get confused.
All right. So let's just recap real quick.
Yes.
We got focus, which I paid attention to,
There you
or
go.
no, paying attention, whatever.
Yeah.
And then you've got purpose,
Yeah,
focusing on
yeah,
purpose.
bringing some
you got your
intentionality.
senses, being present in
Yep.
your moment and in your senses. And then then what's next?
That's then without judgment.
Without judgment.
And so we can be proactive in that because being non-judgmental is challenging. So we bring a sense of compassion to be proactive in dealing with that last part.
See, I thought I was no longer judgmental. Then I realized I just stopped hanging out with idiots. Was that wrong?
I was
Is
the
that wrong?
idiot, so I couldn't. It was the difficult thing.
So what does this do, this mindfulness? I mean,
Yeah.
how does this really help us, and why do we need to learn about it?
Well, there's so many outcomes that could happen, but ultimately there's some freedom in being able to just sit with ourselves and be all right. Because most people, you sit in a room for 5 minutes and you've gone crazy. Mm-hmm. Being able to sit with ourselves, the second part is, in the recovery process, there is so much stress.
Yes.
So much stress.
Absolutely.
And if you look at it, most people relapse because of stress. They can't deal with it. But stress is going to happen. Stress is just part of life. The people who are able to sustain long periods of recovery are the people who are able to mitigate and manage stress.
Right, right.
And this is a way to really help deal with, encounter, and even bring a sense of compassion in moments of stress.
And we're not talking about eliminating stress, because that would be a ridiculous statement to even try that. But it's about dealing with it. Now, I do a lot of teaching, and I think, now that I'm listening to what you're saying, because I'm finally paying attention, we're only 10 minutes in, but actually a lot of what I teach about stress reduction in treatment centers for clients who are really, really feeling it are very similar. And it's about rooting yourself in the moment. It's about meditating, even maybe a little physical exercise to oxygenate the blood and to get things going.
Yeah.
Sit and listen to some music. I suggest something nice, not death metal, but hey, for each their own, you know. I mean, but yeah, I go through a lot of this. So it really all ties it up, but you put it into something that's really...
And it's a systematic approach.
Yes.
Yeah. And so that's where, there are pieces of this in a lot of different modalities for treatment and just in life. But really what I'm giving is a systematic approach. And really, it's guaranteed to provide a sense of ease and well-being if someone's able to practice it and establish it.
So people would come to you to take these courses, because you got more than one, I think. Right? Yeah. We'll talk about that in a moment. But I think mindfulness is at the core of everything, right?
Yes.
So they take this and they want to coach and help people. So by taking your course, they're able to pass on this knowledge to somebody that they're helping in addiction. Is that what we're talking about?
That's exactly it. And that's the foundation of the training, is really beginning to establish it for oneself and then to be able to help other people with it. But we can't just help other people. I talk to people. I'm like, okay, do you do any kind? I talk to people at treatment centers. Do you do any kind of mindfulness? And they're like, oh yeah, we do mindfulness. I'm like, okay, what kind of training do you have? I'm like, well, we don't train. We don't have, And so they're showing videos.
That's why I wanted to talk. No.
Yeah.
We watched that Inside Out movie. They kept playing that.
Yes.
Now we understand emotions.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Disney's the answer to
and
everything.
we deal with emotions in mindfulness too, because that's part of it. Yeah.
But you're right. So many people talk about mindfulness, but very few people have actually been trained. That's why I really wanted to spend the time to talk about what it actually means.
Yes, most definitely.
So now you're training, which I think this is interesting. And the reason that we started talking was, we have a training and we do intervention and teaching people how to get people to that point of accepting help.
Yeah.
Now you're taking over and saying, now they've accepted help, let's teach them how to survive.
Yes.
And possibly thrive.
And thrive. Yeah.
And thrive.
Yes.
Yeah. So this is wonderful. What kind of courses are we looking at for your?
So the main course is what's called Mindful Recovery Facilitator training, and it's 2 parts. It's really that systematic approach of beginning to develop a mindfulness practice for oneself.
Right.
Then, as a person who is doing the training develops those skills, then there's a curriculum that they can lead other people through that process.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So that's one course. What other courses do you
So
have?
I have a bunch. The second one is mindful emotions, because
all right. So they're more specific. Into certain areas.
Parts of it. Yeah. Yeah.
Where do they go now? What's your website?
So it's www.mindfulrecoverycoach.org.
Do we have to say that anymore? www. Do we have to say that?
Mindfulrecoverycoach.org.
www is short for World Wide Web.
Yes.
But it actually is less syllables to say World Wide Web than to say www. So it really doesn't work.
We say HTTPS.
Yeah. Somebody said that to me once. I went to the doctor for penicillin. I don't know what the hell I had. HTTPS. What is that? All right. So,
yes.
Okay. So mindfulrecoverycoach.com.
.org.
Excuse me.
You may be taken to a completely different site.
.org.
Yes.
Yeah. And like you said, this is open for anybody. Now, if somebody wants to get their staff trained at a facility or something, they could contact you and talk about doing group stuff and everything.
Most definitely. And I have either an online training or we can do it in person as well.
It's so much more fun to do it in person,
it is,
isn't
most
it?
Definitely.
I love doing the in-person stuff.
Yes.
When COVID hit, I felt so bad.
Yeah.
I'd actually put cardboard cutouts and just talk to them just to make myself feel better. But the online works.
You are being present.
The online works. Now, do you have it broken up into modules so that people can take it at their own pace?
Most definitely. So it's an 8-week course, and it's really each module is opened up each week. So within that week, a person can work at their own pace, because ultimately, even though it is online, I want it to have that group feel. So there's forum. Yeah. There's ways to engage with other people in the course in a safe, productive way. And
we just connected the back end of our course to eHarmony, and that way everybody can talk to everybody. That's fantastic. Yeah. That is fantastic. And all the information's right there on your website. So mindfulrecoverycoach.org.
Yes.
Check it out. You're really focused on this now.
Yes.
What is it you hope to accomplish personally?
Yeah. Well, I mean, world domination might but
minions running across here.
So I mean, ultimately, I really started doing this with middle school students. I wanted to find a way to help.
Hold on.
Mindfulness, that is. Yes.
You were trying to teach mindfulness to middle schoolers.
I did.
You did?
Yeah.
Wow.
So I had students who couldn't sit still. They had tremendous amount of stress going on in their lives.
Yeah.
Deaths, drugs, overdoses, their family members. And so I really wanted to have a way that they could deal with the stress that they were dealing with. And so I started implementing that. And I got a grant and did all that. And I realized in the process that, wow, this is helping my recovery. And so I started developing courses locally and started leading mindful recovery groups where I was at. And I was like, I'm just one person. this is so beneficial. I need to create a training so that other people can benefit from this. So really, I just really want other people to be able to gain the benefits of mindfulness and then to pass that on.
Did you put this together yourself, or do you have people you work with?
Just me. Yeah.
Just you?
Yeah.
Support of your family, I'm sure.
Yeah, most definitely.
Anything to keep you out of the house, right?
I have a whole team behind me.
That's good. Yeah, pushing me into traffic, off building. This is fantastic.
Yeah.
So is there any way that, do you have places where, like, if you go on the site, are there more videos to talk about what you're doing?
Yeah,
and
most definitely, yeah.
You're not asking anybody to invest until they know exactly what they're looking at.
And you can always do a one-on-one conference call with me, and I can walk you through. I really want people to be informed about what's going on and what they're getting into, and feel confident that they're ready to do it.
Now, do you have any backing behind it, like accreditations or anything like that?
Yes, most definitely. Yeah. So I'm a NADAC education, approved education provider.
Which is a big deal, because that wasn't easy, right?
No, it was
we
not.
did the same thing.
It was not.
And we came back and they said, you didn't put a period right there. You got to do the paperwork again.
Yeah. And so, I want it to be professional, and I want it to represent.
Good. Yeah. They're good. That's fantastic. NADAC,
Yeah.
What else you got?
That's it at this point.
No, that's We're working on a few other places right now, as always. But,
yes.
And what we're looking for is we're excited to be working with you at Mindful Recovery, because I think that what we do is so good.
Oh, yeah.
We're covering areas that you don't cover, and you're covering areas we don't cover.
Yeah.
And building a network of people that really care about things like you do.
Yeah.
And I can tell you're passionate about it. You're
I
laughing
love
and
it.
you joke, but you love it.
I most definitely love it.
Is it more fun teaching people mindfulness or teaching 5th grade math?
Teaching people mindfulness. Because ultimately it's my curriculum, It's yours. In 5th grade, 6th grade, it's somebody else's curriculum. I love working with young people, but my passion is teaching, and also mindfulness, and third, recovery. So it's the best combination of those three things.
And you don't strike me by any means as the professor know-it-all, that you've got all the answers. I think the reason we get along is because you're like Karen and I. There's always something new out there, and we want to know what it is, and we're always learning and trying to improve ourselves.
Yeah, I was talking to somebody the other day about it's a huge turnoff for me when someone thinks they know it all. I just don't like that. I know I don't know it all, and I want to work with people to really find the best solutions. Yeah.
The most courageous words in the world are "I don't know."
I need help.
I need it. No, we're not going to go that far. I don't need help. No, I don't know is a great thing.
Most definitely.
And we're always looking for ways to improve what we do and improve the message. At the end of the day, what we do, although it could be fun, it could be rewarding for us.
Yeah.
It's all geared towards one purpose, which is saving somebody.
It really is, yeah.
And I tell people all the time, if we train, if I spend 100 years training people in interventions and doing that stuff, and one person gets saved,
oh yeah,
it was time well spent.
Yeah.
Because everybody that we're dealing with is somebody's mother, father, brother, sister,
yes,
husband, wife, son, or daughter.
Yes.
And they're important.
And just the moment where the light goes on for them and they're like, I've never been able to sit in my own skin for 1 second and feel all right.
Right.
That and that moment is worth everything.
I don't want to get into a big, and I agree with you. Those were, and to be a part of those moments with people, to share in that miracle is amazing. We're blessed to be able to do that.
Oh, most definitely.
And I earned the right to do that by being one of the biggest jerks on the planet. It's amazing. It's amazing that I've been given the opportunity to do what I do, and to do what you do. If people were to pay attention to things like mindfulness and whatever else we have coming up, I think we're kind of broken as a society. We're not even talking about addiction now.
Oh, yeah.
As a society, we're broken that if I have a headache, I take a pill.
Yeah.
If I'm stressed, I take a pill. If my nose is running, I take a pill.
Yeah.
Not even realizing that if your nose is running, it means your body's trying to get rid of toxins.
Yeah.
And the first thing we do is take a pill so it doesn't expel it, and it stays in us and we wonder why we're still sick.
Yeah. Yeah.
But but it's always that stress and everything else. The first thing we look for is that quick, easy pill answer. Mindfulness can change some of that for people. Do you believe that?
Most definitely. And I mean, there's a wealth of research that shows that,
certainly,
all kinds of manners of things, high blood pressure. There's so many different health benefits to practicing mindfulness, but also just the ability, even if just for 1 minute, just to be able to sit with some uncomfortableness, because we all experience that level of uneasiness. And like you said, oftentimes we run to something to try to solve that instead of just being able to be all right with it.
Yeah. More people have relapsed because of a 5 minutes bout of boredom.
Yes.
Than anything else.
And oddly enough, so there was a piece of research done where they put people in rooms with nothing except for a machine that would shock them. And then they left and said, hey.
Sounds like my first marriage. Very similar feeling. Very similar. Except for I was handcuffed as well.
And so what they did is they left the room saying, hey, we're gonna prepare the real research, when the real research was them sitting in a room with this machine that they had already been zapped. They showed them, said, hey, zap yourself and see. And they're like, I would never zap myself.
How long did it take?
It was like 2 or 3 minutes.
And they were zapping themselves to entertain themselves.
Men, of course, zap themselves a lot faster than women. I'll just put that out there.
We are dumber. I'll put it right out there. I will put it right out there.
So not able to even sit for 5 minutes in a room with nothing else, no phones, no nothing. People would rather zap themselves than sit with themselves.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. You know, I could deal with losing a job. I could deal with the breakup of a relationship. I could deal with the death of a loved one.
Yes.
You know, but if I break my shoelaces, if I have 5 minutes of boredom, I'll trade my wife, my kids, my house, my job, my car for a little bit of liquid in a glass that came out of Macallan.
Yeah.
I will trade it all because I got bored for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
What does that say when you cannot sit with yourself for 5 minutes and be okay? Whereas in my recovery now, you know, you get home and there's nobody there.
Yeah.
And the house is quiet. I don't turn the TV on. I sit in a chair and just enjoy the silence.
Yeah. And that's what most people with long-term recovery, they naturally develop that.
Yeah.
But people starting out, they're like, you're just for today, just be in the moment. And they're like, what does that even mean? You know, and so that's really, I mean, it's for people.
I think that's ancient Latin for bite me.
Exactly.
I'm doing that.
And so I'm giving people the actual way to be in the moment.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
And if we could share that with people who are coming out of their skins.
Yes.
You know,
and I was one of those people. I could not sit still for 10 seconds. I really couldn't.
And some people attribute it to the physical detox.
Yeah.
This is not the physical. The physical detox is in detox, medically monitored and everything else. Now, you still may have some symptomologies, headaches and stuff.
Yeah.
But that real coming out of your skin feeling, that's coming from your stress and from your emotions and from your anxiety.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if you could learn to breathe through it and sit through it and
Most
get through
definitely. I mean, it happened. I mean, when I was a kid, my mom said, you have two choices. You can get a spanking, you can get spanked, or you can go in your room and sit for 5 minutes. I'm like, spank me. I don't care. I mean, it was there way before the addiction.
Wow.
Oh, most definitely.
He's weird. Brother, I love you, man. You're awesome. You are right. You are right where I'm coming from. This is stuff that people really need to learn.
Yeah.
There are alternatives to everything. The greatest tool we have in our recovery, in our lives, is right here.
Oh, yeah.
Is our ability to make a choice on whether we want stress or we want relief.
Yeah.
Whether we want to feel good or feel bad. Because that's, at the end of the day, it's all up to us.
It is. Well, and the other thing is, we do have a choice, but if we don't know what the choice is, then, and that's where people are like, we have a choice to deal with the stress or not. But if you don't have the skills to deal with it, then it's really not a choice anymore. So what I really want to provide people with are the skills and ability to have that choice.
I'm encouraging everybody. Make sure that you contact, you reach out, mindfulrecovery.org or mindfulrecoverycoach.org, and let them know you saw it on the show here. Yeah. You guys, I'll give you guys copies of this. You can put it wherever you want. There's so much going on here you need to know about, and trust me, this is not the last time you'll be seeing Lucius, because ATC is all about what they're doing, and we want to support each other and help each other. Maybe put some things out on a similar platforms and do that. And if you are interested, we can do something maybe bi-weekly or something where we can do a show together.
That'd be great.
And we can actually go out live and answer questions about this stuff. And I could just run it right here from the studio, and you could be at home.
Yeah.
But I got to tell you, the last time I didn't think you wouldn't think you'd have to say it. Don't broadcast from your bathroom. You'd never think.
That's where I was going to broadcast from. The acoustics are wonderful, though.
Best seat in the house, let me tell you.
I'm the king of my castle.
Okay.
Hey, if it's good enough for Elvis Presley, it's good enough for me. All right.
I'm a big Elvis fan. And I'll tell you what, people upset, they say, oh, you faked his death. You faked his death. If you were going to fake your death, of all the deaths you could choose,
Jumping out of a plane
or sitting on the toilet?
Most definitely.
Constipated, sitting on the toilet. Bit by a snake, jumping on. Yeah. An armed robbery, this, that. Wow. Yeah. That's not. All right. Lucius, thank you very much. I really appreciate you coming in. Like I said, this is not the last time you'll be seeing myself and Lucius working together, because we got a lot of information we want to get out to you. And you know what? We're going to do it in a fun way, because I don't know any other way to do it. I hope you weren't hoping on a serious broadcast.
I'm all for fun.
Because nobody listens to that. Nobody listens to that. Rush Limbaugh, he's not on the air anymore, people. We're smiling and we're happy. All right? Okay. Once again, one more reminder, mindfulrecoverycoach.org. Reach out, check out the programs they have. And, of course, as always, check us out right here at atceducation.com for our courses and information on how to reach us. And if you have any questions, certainly reach out to us. You have been watching. Lucius, thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
You've been watching Spotlight on Addiction and Recovery. I'm your host, Scott Jones. I want to thank Addiction Training Center for their support for the show, and also remind you to like our YouTube page, the ATC Network on YouTube, and share it with your friends. We'll catch you next time. God bless.